Hi everybody, it's Miss Becky with the Madison Library. I'm ready for story time. How about you? Let's see if anybody's home.
Oh, hi. Look, I found my old Navy hat.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Was that Grandpa Bob? Let's try that again. I'm confused. It looked like Grandpa Bob.
Hello again. Look, my fishing hat.
Oh my goodness! What's going on here? Let's ring the bell again.
Hi. This one is my winter hat, but it's not snowing.
I am so confused. One more time. Let's try. Is it coming?
Now I'm ready to go play golf. Let's go.
When I got inside, I wondered if Grandma Lou had some hats, and look what I found. Aren't these beautiful? Maybe you have a hat you would like to wear for story time. Well, that was a fun way to start story time. And you know the next thing we do is we always get a book. You put your hands together like this and you open them and close them like a book. Let's do our song. The more we read together, 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 the more we read together, the happier we'll be. Read big books and small books and short books and tall books. The more we read together, the happier we'll be. Let's try that one more time. The more we read together, 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 the more we read together, the happier we'll be. Read big books and small books and short books and tall books. The more we read together, the happier we'll be. Great job, everybody. Well, you know, all of this happening this morning makes me so hungry. And this is about the time that I have a big bowl of egg drop soup. That just sounds kind of good and different to me. Wait a minute. Egg drop soup. That's not the one with the letters in it. Alphabet soup. Oh, I'm supposed to be eating alphabet soup. I'm a librarian. I read books with letters in it. I need to eat alphabet soup. Well, will you say the rhyme with me? Rub your stomach, and it goes like this. Alphabet soup, gee, it tastes swell. Alphabet soup, what does it spell? Let's try that again. Alphabet soup, gee, it tastes swell. Alphabet soup, what does it spell? Well, let's see what the letters spell today. I bet you have a good clue. That first letter, that's H, and it sounds like ha, ha. The next one, can you guess what it is? That's an A, and it sounds like like apple. And finally, we have the letter T. That's right, and it sounds like tuh. And if you put that all together, it spells hat. Now, I'm going to read you a book about hats, and this is a book that Grandma Lou used to read to me when I was a little girl, and it's called Caps for Sale. We're going to read Caps for Sale, one of my absolute favorites. Once there was a peddler who sold caps, but he was not like an ordinary peddler carrying his wares on his back. He carried them on top of his head. First he had on his own checked cap, then a bunch of gray caps, a bunch of brown caps, then a bunch of blue caps, and on the very top, a bunch of red caps. He walked up and down the streets, holding himself very straight so as not to upset his caps. He went along and he called, "Caps, caps for sale, 50 cents a cap." One morning he couldn't sell any caps. He walked up the street and he walked down the street, calling, "Caps, caps for sale, 50 cents a cap." But nobody wanted any caps that morning. Nobody wanted even a red cap. He began to feel very hungry, but he had no money for lunch. "I think I'll go for a walk in the country," said he, and he walked out of town slowly, slowly, so as not to upset his caps. He walked for a long time until he came to a great big tree. "That's a nice place for a rest," thought he, and he sat down very slowly under the tree and leaned back little by little against the tree trunk so as not to disturb the caps on his head. Then he put up his hand to feel if they were straight. First his own checked cap, then the gray caps, then the brown caps, then the blue caps, then the red caps on the very top. They were all there, so he went to sleep. He slept for a long time. When he woke up, he was refreshed and rested. Oh. But before standing up, he felt with his head to make sure his caps were in the right place. All he felt was his own checked cap. He looked to the right of him, no caps. He looked to the left of him, no caps. He looked in back of him, no caps. He looked behind the tree, no caps. Then he looked up into the tree, and what do you think he saw? On every branch sat a monkey. On every monkey was a gray or a brown or a blue or a red cap. The peddler looked at the monkeys. The monkey looked at the peddler. He didn't know what to do. Finally, he spoke to them. "You monkeys, you," he said, shaking a finger at them. "You give me back my caps." But the monkeys just shook their fingers back at him and said, "Tss, tss, tss." This made the peddler angry as he shook both hands at him and said, "You monkeys, you give me back my caps." But the monkeys only shook both their hands and looked back at him and said, "Tss, tss, tss." Now he felt quite angry. He stamped his foot and he said, "You monkeys, you better give me back my caps." But the monkeys only stamped their feet back at him and said, "Tss, tss, tss." By this time, the peddler was really very, very angry. He stamped both his feet and shouted, "You monkeys, you must give me back my caps." But the monkeys only stamped both their feet back at him and said, "Tss, tss, tss." At last he became so angry that he pulled off his own cap, threw it on the ground, and began to walk away. But then each monkey pulled off his cap, and all the gray caps and all the brown caps and all the blue caps and all the red caps came flying down out of the tree. They were imitating him. So the peddler picked up his caps and put them back on his head. First his own checked cap, then the gray caps, there they are, then the brown caps, then the blue caps, and then the red caps. And slowly, slowly, he walked back to the town, calling, "Caps, caps for sale, 50 cents a cap." And that's the end of the story. I have a hat that looks just like the peddler's checked cap, doesn't it? Do you have a cap that you can use? You can pause this video because we're going to act out the story and you might want to have a hat on. Well, let's get started. We're going to start with the peddler. And the peddler put on different colored caps. Let's see what caps he put on at first. Do you know what color that is? Can you remember from the story? That's a gray cap. So first he put on his gray caps. How did he do that? Then he took the next color, and that was this color, brown. Let's put those on top. We're gonna have to squeeze it all tight. All right, And then he put on this color. That's right, blue. Let's see. Got the blue caps on top. How is he doing it and keeping them all on his head? And finally, the last caps that he put on top, bright were the red caps. Let's see if we can fit all those caps. If the peddler can do it, so can we. Awesome. Now, do you remember when he sat under the tree, the monkeys stole his caps? When he looked up in the tree, he figured out that that's where all his caps went. They were on the heads of all the monkeys. So he looked at those monkeys and he said, "You monkeys, you." Can you point a finger like this? "You monkeys, you give me back my caps." Can you say that? "You monkeys, you give me back my caps." Well, that didn't work. They just looked at him and they went, "Can you do that?" Then he got madder. So he took his two fists and he shook them both like this. Can you do that? And he said, "You monkeys, you give me back my caps." Let's try it. "You monkeys, you give me back my caps." And the monkeys just looked at him and went, "Tss, tss, tss." Okay, this time he got really mad and he stomped a foot. Can you stomp a foot and say, "You monkeys, you give me back my caps"? Then the monkeys looked at him and they did the same thing. They stomped their foot. Tss, tss, tss. All right, he got so mad that he stomped both feet. Let's try it. "You monkeys, you give me back my caps." But the monkeys just looked out at him and said, "Tss, tss, tss." Finally, he got so mad that he threw his hat down. And what did the monkeys do? They threw all their hats down. First the gray caps, then the brown caps, then the blue caps, then the red caps. And the peddler put those caps right back on his head. He got them all on there. And he started walking down the street. "Caps for sale, 50 cents a cap." Great job acting out that story. That is one of my favorites. This is one of my favorite hats. Sometimes it can be a silly hat. Let's do a song. If you have a hat, start with it on your head. On my head, I wear a hat. It is such a silly hat that my head wiggle waggles to and fro. Where else can my silly hat go? Let's see. I think I'll put it on my knee. On my knee, I wear a hat. It is such a silly hat that my knee wiggle waggles to and fro. Where else can my silly hat go? How about on my elbow? On my elbow, I wear a hat. It is such a silly hat that my elbow wiggle waggles to and fro. Where else can my silly hat go? How about on my back? On my back, I wear a hat. It is such a silly hat that my back wiggle waggles to and fro. Where else can my silly hat go? I'm going to put it on my hands. On my hands, I wear a hat. It is such a quiet hat that my hands don't wiggle to and fro. They go in my lap just so. This book is called Hat Tricks by Satoshi Kitamura. What do we have here? Let's see. It's a rabbit in a hat, but it's not just any rabbit, and it's not just any hat. It's Hattie the magician, and this is her hat. So welcome everyone to Hattie's Magic Show. Let's say the magic words with Hattie. Abracadabra, catakaruco. Can you say that? Abracadabra, catakaruco. What's in the hat? Any guesses? It's a cat. What will be next? Abracadabra, catakaruco. What's in the hat? Any guesses? Let's see, it's got a big bushy tail. It's a squirrel. Ready for the magic word? Wave your magic wand. Abracadabra, catacauruco. What's in the hat? That kind of looks like a snake, doesn't it? Let's see. It's an octopus. I wouldn't have guessed that. Ready? Abracadabra, catacauruco. What's in the hat? That looks like some kind of an antler. It's a moose. How did it fit in there? Oh my goodness. Ready? Abracadabra, catacauruco. What is in that? I don't recognize that at all. Why, it's an elephant. That was the elephant's trunk. Uh-oh, he's having a little trouble getting out of the hat. The elephant is stuck. Oh, it hurts. 1, 2, 3, heave. And kaboom! All fall down. He exploded out of that hat, didn't he? Well, now the hat must be empty. Is it? Wow! Let's see what comes out. Look, I see like a whole scene coming out of it there. It's a whole new world of friends. Look, we've got trees back here, and the octopus has a new octopus, the squirrel has a friend, the elephant, the moose, the cat. Looks like a lot of fun. What great things you can do with a magic hat. What a grand finale. Brava, Hattie. Bravo, hat. That was fun to read about a magic hat. Let's sing a song about a magic hat. I'm going to put on my magic hat. Have you got yours on? Put on your magic hat. Put on your magic hat. You can do most anything in your magic hat. You can clap really loud. You can clap really loud. You can do most anything in your magic hat. You can flap your arms like a bird. You can flap your arms like a bird. You can do most anything in your magic hat. Let's see, what else can we do? You can snap your fingers. You can snap your fingers. You can do most anything in your magic hat. Can you whistle? Let's see if you can whistle. Let's see if I can. I can whistle in my hat. I can whistle in my hat. I can do most anything in my magic hat. It's not a very loud whistle. I wonder if some of you know how to whistle. And let's do one more thing with our magic hat. We can fold our hands like that. We can fold our hands like that. We can fold our hands in our laps in our magic hat. I have another song about a hat for you, and it goes like this. Here are Grandma's glasses. Here is Grandma's hat. This is how she folds her hands and puts them in her lap. Here are Grandpa's glasses. Here is Grandpa's hat. This is how he folds his arms and takes a nap. Let's try that again. Here are Grandma's glasses. Here is Grandma's cap. This is how she folds her hands and puts them in her lap. Here are Grandpa's glasses. Here is Grandpa's hat. This is how he folds his arms and takes a nap. This book is called Jenny's Hat by Ezra Jack Keats. A new hat. Jenny's favorite aunt promised to send her one as a present. Jenny waited and dreamed and waited. Shutting her eyes, she sighed. It will be big and flowery and oh, so very beautiful. At last it came. She ran to her room and opened the box. Oh no, she gasped. It's such a plain hat. Why, dear, I really think it's quite nice, her mother said kindly. Jenny blinked back her tears and put the hat under her bed. She put on a straw basket to see what sort of hat it would make. Then she drew pictures. Achoo, she sneezed. Bless you, dear, called her mother. And what are you doing? I'm drawing a a caterpillar, answered Jenny. Oh, dear, sighed her mother. I see. Then she tried on a lampshade and a little flower pot, a TV antenna, and a shiny pan. But none of these would do. Not really. Jenny noticed that it was 3 o'clock, time to feed the birds. She ran to the cupboard, filled a paper bag with breadcrumbs, and started for the park. The birds expected her, for every Saturday afternoon she went to the very same spot to scatter the crumbs. And birds came, all sorts of birds, fluttering and twittering and cooing. They all knew Jenny. Some ate out of her hand. Others hopped happily on her head. Soon every last crumb was gone, and away they flew. For a while, Jenny forgot about her new hat. But walking home, Jenny remembered and wished out loud, "Oh, I wish my new hat were just a little fancier." Look who's listening. The next morning, Jenny got up early and peeped out the window. What lovely hats she saw. All the pretty colors and flowers. Later, she went to church with her father, mother, and friends. All around her, hats appeared like flowers in a garden. As they left the church, Jenny saw some birds, then more and more birds. Were they following her? See there? They fluttered down to her plain hat, carrying red and violet flowers and leaves, colored eggs, and a paper fan. Look at all that. They added a picture of swans on a quiet lake and some big red and yellow roses. And 2 big green and orange leaves, more pictures and some paper flowers, more real flowers, and a pink valentine. Wow, look how colorful that is. Then all the birds swooped down together, flapping and fluttering around Jenny's new hat. I think the squirrel must have told them about it. Suddenly they all flew away. On Jenny's head sat the most beautiful hat. At the very top was a nest of chirping young birds. Jenny felt like chirping too, happy from head to toe. She felt she was walking on air. People stared in wonder. Behind her flew the birds, watchful and proud. When they all reached her house, the birds, twittering and singing, picked up the nest of little ones and flew back to their home in the park. Jenny waved goodbye. "Thank you," she called. Jenny's mother helped her wrap the wonderful hat, piled high with lovely things. Even after the flowers and leaves had dried, it would be saved and looked at and remembered for a long, long time. The end. That turned into a beautiful hat, didn't it? Now, I want to show you the craft that I made. I took a bowl, a paper bowl, and I put some decorations on it. I had some stickers, and I glued some streamers to it. It looks like a hat. Almost looks like one of the Easter hats that you might see at church with the pretty streamers hanging down. But you can use yarn or string. You can just color on the bowl and make it look like a hat and just have fun with it. If you do make a hat, I'd love to see it. You can send me a picture of it at bowen@mcls.ms. Have a happy day.